Hydrogen is one of the so-called fuels of the future with obvious benefits like zero emissions, ease of refuelling and a long tank range. This video is the first in a series looking at shifts in technology and transport and how these changes impact on the energy sector. While hydrogen is an innovative form of technology, most people don't actually realise that hydrogen fuel cells were first invented in 1838. In fact, places like Hong Kong still use what is called town gas, that's about 50% hydrogen, in the same way that we use natural gas in Australia. Toyota Australia is looking closely at hydrogen as a future fuel source and has 3 hydrogen vehicles on trial. I'm talking today to Matthew McLeod, who's the hydrogen lead at Toyota.
We've imported 3 Mirai fuel cell vehicles into the country. These vehicles that we've imported are production level vehicles, they're not prototypes. They've been released in Japan, in Europe and also in the US. Hydrogen's a very interesting opportunity because it has the ability to join sectors together, the electricity sector, the gas sector and the transport sector. So hydrogen has the ability to cross these sectors together or couple them together, and that allows it to be used in multiple areas of our economy. The power to gas concept allows energy from sunlight, wind and wave or any other renewable energy to be transformed into gas and then used in other areas of our economy. With any new technology, there's always an element of change required. With hydrogen fuel cell cars, there's parts of the technology and the vehicle and the driving which is very similar to petrol or diesel cars. So there's some elements that are the same and there's some areas that you'll need to change. Fuel cell technology is essentially basic chemistry. The fuel cell itself is a device that makes electricity. So the hydrogen is pushed into the fuel cell makes electricity, and that electricity is used to drive the motor in the car. Refuelling a fuel cell car is very similar to a petrol or diesel vehicle. If you need to fill up, you pull into a service station which has a hydrogen pump, you connect the pump to the car, and in 3 to 5 minutes later you've got a full tank and you're on your onward journey. This particular vehicle has a range of around 500 kilometres using the European testing cycle. On board it carries 5 kilograms of hydrogen. In markets where this vehicle has been released, for example the US, the hydrogen costs between $10 and $15 per kilogram. Ultimately, however, the main thing is to ensure that there's no disadvantage driving a zero emission vehicle like this that runs on hydrogen versus a diesel or petrol vehicle. So if you spend a certain amount of money to do a certain number of kilometres using one powertrain, you should be able to do the same in the other. Realistically, it's not a matter of who wins between battery and fuel cell electric. Toyota sees these as complementary technologies because they both enable zero emissions transport. Ultimately, the choice of technology is going to be dependent on the lifestyle, location and your travel habits. The introduction of fuel cell vehicles is heavily dependent on supporting infrastructure, and we've seen that from the markets overseas. Hopefully, if the supporting infrastructure is there for fuel cell vehicles, it shouldn't be too long before we see them on our roads.
From AEMO's perspective, we're seeing new and innovative developments emerge across the energy sector all the time. This includes shifting trends in transport and their potential impact on our gas and electricity systems. While there are technical challenges around the transportation and use of hydrogen as a fuel source, we recognise the exciting potential pathway to commercialisation of hydrogen, especially as a means of soaking up excess electricity generated from solar and wind farms. We'll certainly keep you posted on any new developments. I'm David Jones, and thanks for watching.